Hey leader, Doug Smith here, founder of L3 Leadership, and in today's episode, I'm going to be sharing with you the vision and values of L3 Leadership. This is an episode that we re-record new every single year to give you a refresher on who we are, what we do, and how you can get connected with what we do. And so whether you've been with us since the beginning or this is your very first podcast episode, I hope that you'll get fired up about our vision and who we're called to reach and how you can be a part of what we're doing. So let's just dive right in. The first thing that I want to share with you is our vision and our mission. And our mission is this: we exist to gather, connect, and develop leaders. I'll say it again. We exist to gather, connect, and develop leaders. I say it all the time on the podcast, but we are obsessed with helping leaders grow to their maximum potential and to maximize the impact of their leadership. It's why we exist. And within that vision, we have what I call the 1,000 Leader Mandate. I believe at this season in L3 Leadership, we have a vision to reach 1,000 leaders, and not just reach them, but actually transform their lives. And what that looks like is we want 1,000 leaders that get connected with our community, to go through our programming, to go through our content, to be in a mastermind group, to attend our conferences. And we believe that on the other side of that, their lives will be transformed. And if we can transform 1,000 leaders' lives, we think we can make a significant difference in changing the world and creating the world the way it ought to be. And so that's why we wake up every day and go to work and help develop leaders, because that is our mission. We want to change the world by connecting, developing, and gathering leaders. The next thing I want to share with you is a little bit about our DNA and who we are, our core values. We have 5 of them. The first value, you won't be surprised, is leadership, right? We're a leadership development company. We value leadership. Why? Because we believe everything rises and falls on leadership. And we believe that everyone wins, the entire world wins when a leader gets better. And if that's true, we also believe that if a leader doesn't get better, everyone loses. And that's why we're so committed to pouring our lives into leaders. In fact, we believe if we can create a world of better leaders, then as a result, we'll have better families, we'll have better communities, better churches, better cities, better states, better nations, and a better world. And it all starts with developing leaders. And so again, that is why we as an organization exist. We want to create better leaders, so at the end of the day, we create a better world. We value leadership. Our second core value is community. This is huge. We believe that no leader should ever do life alone, but in community. However, in our culture, I would say that 90 to 95% of the leaders that I'm talking to right now, you probably don't have one person that you can go through life and leadership with and be vulnerable with and be real with. And we exist to end that trend. We want every leader on the planet to be fully known, fully loved, and fully challenged by a community of leaders. And that is what we value, and that is what we're committed to, creating a community of leaders that you can do life and leadership with. Our third core value is character. We say it all the time, but we believe character development is the most important development. You know, in our culture, you hear a lot about personal development, personal growth, growing professionally, but you rarely hear anything about growing your character and developing your character. You know, one of our goals when it comes to character development and why we focus so much on it is we believe only about 2% of leaders make it to their leadership finish line. So many leaders fall out and don't make it to their finish line because they lack the character development necessary to get there. And so we're going to do everything we can to build leaders of value, leaders of character, and leaders whose character will sustain them and get them to their finish line. It's why we exist. Our fourth core value is growth. Growth. And here's the tagline with our growth core value: we will grow to our maximum potential regardless of the cost. Regardless of the cost. Here's what I know. If you're committed to growing to your personal maximum potential, then it's going to require a lot of growth. And with growth comes great cost. Sometimes growth is painful. Sometimes it costs a lot. Sometimes it involves a lot of sacrifice. But I can say this about growth. Growth is always worth it. It's always worth it. In fact, personal growth is the only guarantee that tomorrow will be better. It's by you getting better today. You have to grow. And so we are committed to doing everything we can to grow ourselves to our maximum potential and equipping you to grow to yours. And then our last core value is intentionality. We want everyone to live intentional lives. And this just means in every area of your life that you're intentional. You're intentional with your personal growth and development. You're intentional with your family life. You're intentional with your financial life. You're intentional with your health and fitness. You're intentional with your spiritual life. And so we want you to be intentional and well-rounded in every area of your life. And we help you do that by creating a life plan. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. But those are our values. And so you have our mission. We feel called to connect, gather, and develop leaders. You have our values. And now I want to talk to you a little bit about what we want a leader's life to look like after they've been a part of L3 leadership. What should a leader's life look like? Multiple things. When someone connects with L3 leadership, when they've completed their experience with us, here's what we want their lives to look like. We want them to be fully known, fully loved, and fully challenged. I mentioned this under the core value of community, but we want them to have a community that they know they can go to anytime for anything that they're going through, and they'll be loved, they'll be known, and they'll be challenged. We want them to have their lives and their leadership transformed, and we measure this by stories. We want them to have a story about being involved with L3 leadership, saying, wow, because of L3 leadership, this part of my leadership has been transformed forever. I can't even imagine my life without a mastermind group or without L3 leadership. We want to transform leaders' lives. We want them to live intentionally. We want them to have a life plan. We want the leaders we influence to set goals and review them quarterly and to plan the quarter ahead. We want them to annually do a year-end review. It's one of my favorite things that I do every single year, and it's been so helpful for so many L3 leaders. We want them to know their purpose and to make a difference every single day. We want them to become increasingly self-aware. We want them to prioritize family over work. We want them to become better leaders in every area of their life. We want them to become bigger on the inside than they are on the outside. We want them every day to wake up and go to work and making the world the way it ought to be. And they're also multiplying their leadership. So they're not just growing personally as leaders, but now their leadership growth and development is pouring into other people. So they're developing people, they're mentoring people, they're raising up the next generation of leaders. That's what we want someone's life to look like after they've been a part of L3 leadership. So now you've heard our mission, you've heard our core values, who we are. You've heard what we want your life and leadership to look like after you've connected with L3. And the obvious question next is, how do you actually do that? What do you do to enable leaders to grow and transform like that? Well, we do 5 things and 5 things only. The first thing we do is the L3 Leadership Podcast, which you're listening to or watching right now. And we're committed to weekly adding value to leaders' life through the podcast. Some episodes are interviews with high-level leaders. Other episodes are me giving personal leadership talks about where I am in my growth journey and adding value to your life. And then occasionally you'll get leadership talks from our conferences and other events that we put on as well. So if you've not subscribed to the podcast, it would mean the world to me if you'd subscribe and share this with other leaders so we can add value to even more people on a weekly basis. The second thing we do to add value to leaders is we have membership. This is the first step in joining our L3 community. Our membership is giving you, as a leader, access to leaders, content, and systems to build your life and leadership on. And when you become a member of L3 Leadership, here's just a few of the things that you'll get. One is you'll have a monthly live webinar with a nationally known leader. And so you'll not only get an opportunity to learn from them, but you'll also have an opportunity to ask nationally known leaders questions about where you are in your leadership. We also record and archive all of those live webinars on the back end of our membership website. So you'll have access to every webinar that we've ever done when you're a member. We're also doing live monthly Q&A and hot seat sessions. This is an opportunity for our members to actually troubleshoot where they are with their goals. This is actually a teaser for what we do in our mastermind groups on a consistent basis. But you'll have an opportunity to share your goals with the L3 community and actually get coaching and feedback on those goals once a month. There's also member-only content. We have all of our L3 one-day talks you'll have access to as a member. We have leadership courses to help you grow and develop, and so much more. And that is for literally only $25 a month you can join our L3 community. And so right now we're offering a special deal where you get your first month for $1. So go ahead and go to l3leadership.org and you can find more information on that. That's membership. The third thing that we do is mastermind groups. We believe that every leader needs to be in a mastermind group. And mastermind groups are where we help leaders become fully known, fully loved, and fully challenged. We want leaders to have a group of leaders that they can do life with, where they can be fully known, they can be vulnerable, they can be themselves, they can actually share what they're going through in life, and they'll get support. And then they'll be fully loved. that those leaders in their group will meet them where they're at and love them through whatever they're going through, or no matter how challenging it may be. And then yet also be fully challenged. And that just means as leaders, we're committed to loving you and knowing you, but we also won't let you stay where you are. And we're going to challenge you to be better, challenge you to grow and develop. And again, we want every leader to be fully known, fully loved, and fully challenged. And this happens through Mastermind Groups, which are groups of leaders that intentionally meet. For us, it's twice a month, and they do life and leadership together. And we have an entire process for this, but it's beautiful. And we've seen incredible things happen through Mastermind Groups. We've seen people leave their jobs and start companies. We've seen people get promoted. We've seen babies be adopted. We've seen divorces be averted. We've seen families get tighter. We've literally any goal or any area of life that you can think of, we've seen huge process in leaders' lives as a result of being in a mastermind group. In fact, for me, the biggest source of growth in my life over the last 5 years has been my L3 mastermind group. So leader, stop waiting. Stop thinking, hey, I'm going to be in a mastermind group someday. Launch one or join one today. And you can do both of those things with L3 Leadership. Just go to our website, l3leadership.org, and look under what we do, and you'll see mastermind groups, and there'll be applications there. Stop doing life alone. Get in a mastermind group today. The fourth thing that we do is a Leaders Collaborative. We do this in Pittsburgh specifically in partnership with the Pittsburgh Leadership Foundation. And this is a 3-month collaborative experience with other leaders that you'll go through. There's 2 different programs. One is for seasoned leaders and one is for emerging leaders. And this is where we help leaders elevate the effectiveness of their leadership. And in these programs, you'll get world-class leadership development, you'll get personal assessments, interviews, and you'll get to do life with 10 to 12 other leaders at a time. It's incredible. It'll transform your life. So if you're looking to elevate the effectiveness of your leadership, check out our collaborative program. And the last thing we do is our L3 one-day conference. This is our annual gathering of leaders where we help leaders grow their leadership, grow their network, and their future. Again, our mission is to gather, connect, and develop leaders. And so we have to gather leaders and our tribe of leaders once a year, annually. And right now we do that in Pittsburgh. And for those of you watching this, we had to reschedule our 2020 conference due to COVID-19. And we just got a date. It's going to be September 25th, 2020 at Victory Family Church here in Cranberry. So leader, if you're watching this, make sure that you join us on September 25th for our one-day conference. And this will be something we do every single year. And again, when you're a member, you get to see all the L3 One Day talks on the back end of the membership site. So come to L3 One Day. And those are the 5 things we do. So as we close, you've heard our mission. You've heard who we are. You've heard what your life and leadership will look like once you join L3. And you've heard what we do. So in closing, I just want to say, will you join us? Will you join us? Maybe you're fired up about everything that you just heard. Maybe it's time for you to take a next step. That next step may be you becoming a member. We're actually offering your first month of membership for $1, and after that, it's just $25 a month. That is a small investment for the ROI that you'll get in your life and leadership. Maybe you need to start or launch or join a mastermind group, and we talked about that. Maybe that's your next step. Or maybe you're interested in just partnering with us. If you're a leader watching this and saying, Doug, I love the vision, I love who you are, I love what you're doing, I want to partner with you, how can I do that? Hey, financial sponsorship is a great way to partner with us. Not only will you help support us and our mission, but it's also an opportunity for you to promote your product, your organization, your service to our tribe of leaders. And so, leader, I hope that you're as fired up as I am. Will you join us today in our call to gather, connect, and develop leaders? Will you be one of the 1,000 leaders in our 1,000 leader mandate? And hey, we say all the time that there's leaders and then there's leaders of leaders. Will you go an extra mile and not only join and be a part of L3, but get other people to join? Will you be a leader that brings in 100 leaders into L3 leadership and help transforms their leadership as a result of you just simply introducing them to us? So, leader, join us, help us change the world by transforming, gathering, connecting, and developing leaders. We love you. Thank you for allowing us into your lives and leadership, and we will talk to you next episode.